This is the lathe machine, and this machine is used especially to make the work to cylindrical shape. Sometimes the end of the work is made completely flat. On this machine, many operations can be carried out, like turning, plane turning. Plane turning means same diameter throughout the length. Facing means the end of the workpiece is made completely flat. Then taper turning. Taper turning means two different diameters, gradually increasing in diameters. One small diameter and the other end the bigger diameter. That is taper. Then drilling can be done. A hole can be made into the workpiece. Threading also can be done. Then boring. Boring means original hole is there, previous hole is there, drilled hole, and the hole is made bigger with a special tool. The tool is called boring tool, and the hole is made bigger. That operation is called boring. Grinding also can be done. Then threading, internal as well as external. Grooving also can be done. Means a groove. For example, this one slide is there. This is a groove. This kind of groove also can be done on the machine. And parting means cutting the workpiece metal into two. Parting also can be done. Knurling also can be done. Knurling is this one here, a grip, diamond-shaped grip. That also can be done. That this design is given with a special tool called knurling tool, and other different operations. That's why the machine is called king of all machines. Now, the lathe machine is divided into two sides, one to the left and one to the right. Okay, left side. This is the left side, called headstock, and in the headstock the spindle is there, lathe spindle. This is the lathe chuck to hold the workpiece. Inside there are gears or gearbox. These are the levers which are attached to the gear to change the different speed. This is the chart for different speed. And then the operating switches like forward, backward, okay, reverse or stop and like that. So all these are there in the headstock side. Now let us come to the right side. And this is on the extreme end of the band. And this one is called the tailstock, which is opposite to headstock. And this one, tailstock, is used to hold taper part. For example, this is taper. The shank, this is called the shank. This is taper. And this is the drill chuck. And here the drill chuck, it means get fixed in the spindle. How to remove this back? You cannot use the hammer and bang it here. Wrong. What you do? Just move the spindle behind completely and press like this. It disengages. Some arrangement is there inside. And to fix it again, move the spindle. This is the spindle out about 2 inches out, and then push the taper part inside. Get locked. So this is the method of fixing the taper parts. All taper parts, the same method. Okay. This is one. Second use is called the revolving center. This conical point rotates along with the work when it is supported. Same method. Move the spindle out, push the revolving center, and to remove, now this revolving center is used to support the workpiece, lengthy workpiece or short piece. There. Here. This is a revolving center with the taper shank drill. Fixing the same method, move the spindle out, 1 2 inches out, and then take a cloth piece, hold it here on the sharp edges of the, and then bang it inside. If you directly hold like this, then you may get a cut because there are sharp edges on the drill. We move back, same method, move it behind, and then the drill will come. So this is taper shank drill. This is called a sleeve. And this also can be fitted inside here. Now this sleeve is used to make up the gap, build up the gap between the taper shank which is smaller. Here. This won't remain. Because the shank is too small. So to make that gap, fill the gap between the spindle hole and the taper shank of the drill, a sleeve is used. And then fit it. Okay, fit. Another use, this is called a dead center. Same method of fixing. This dead center is used to support a workpiece. Other use of the tailstock is for taper turning. Lengthy tapers. This taper is too long. So to cut this type of taper, lengthy taper, this tailstock is used. And the method is called offset method. Now the parts of the tailstock. This is the spindle which moves in and out with the help of the handle. This is the handle which is attached to the spindle or tailstock spindle. This is the tailstock, spindle clamp which is to lock the spindle. See, I am turning the handle, it is not moving, it is locked. So this is the clamp for spindle. Then here, this is the tailstock clamp, which is used to clamp anywhere on the bed. See, it is not moving. Tailstock clamp. The top part, there are two parts. Top part is called the base, and top part is called the body, and the bottom part here, one line is there, bottom part is called the base. It can be adjusted in and out, towards the operator, against the operator. Now, this is about the tailstock. And the use of the tailstock to support the workpiece. Now, let us learn about the other parts of the machine. This is called the bed. This part here is called a saddle or carriage. Here. This one is called a tool post, and this is tool post clamp. We set the tool post and clamp it. Without clamping, we cannot take a cut. This is the tool holder, and this is the tool which cuts the metal. So, use of the tool post is to hold the tool holder, and there is this type of. There are 4 grooves, 4 slots. This type of tool holder, the tool post is called indexing type tool post. Indexing type. You can fix 4 tools at one time for different operation. You have 1, 2, 3, and 1 more 4. the 2 lambda is too long now. Next part, here, this one. This is called a cross slide, which always moves perpendicular to the axis. And this part is used while doing the facing operation. Facing operation. Facing means the end of the workpiece is made completely flat. Then, this is cross slide. This one is carriage wheel or hand wheel. It is called, or sometimes it is called apron also. When you turn this wheel, the full carriage moves on the bed. This part, the carriage wheel, is used for turning operation. When you move the tool moves parallel to the axis. The tool cuts the workpiece and you get a cylindrical shape. That is called turning. So this part is used. Then this part is called the compound rest, compound slide or compound rest, which is used to cut the short degree or required degree. Here, this paper can be cut with the help of the compound rest, compound slide. And lengthy taper cannot be cut here with the help of it. This is the handle for the compound slide. Move like this, come back, and again fill with this one and take the cut. Now the nuts are here, 2 nuts. Here. And this compound slide swivels, rotates 360 degrees. And the degrees are marked on this. You like this rotate and move it, and one mark is here, vertical mark. You make the mark with the required degree and then clamp. So this is about the compound slide. This part, which is threaded, is called a lead screw, which is used while automatic, when the machine has to run automatic, and while cutting the threads. This should be made to rotate. Then this is the dial chaser while cutting thread. This handle is called half nut lever. The nut is there, and while cutting the die, this must be engaged with the lead screw. And this one is for automatic. This is about the parts of the lathe machine. This chuck can be removed because the spindle this side and has got the threads, and chuck also has got the threads. Then it can be removed, and different other chuck for your chuck can be fitted here. This is called a 3-jaw chuck because there are 3 jaws. It's called 3-jaw chuck. When it's called a 4-jaw chuck, then there will be 4 jaws. This one is also only to hold cylindrical objects, cylindrical jaws. And the 4th jaw are irregular shaped jaw. Here. Today we will learn about how to do the turning operation and facing operation. First thing, before starting the workpiece, before taking the card, before machining, this tool point must be set to the axis, with the axis. Right? Tool must be set to the axis height. And how to do that? There are different methods. The one easiest method is with the dead center. Fix the dead center inside the spindle. Move like this. Move the tool point, and here you match this tool point with the point of the, because this is exactly in the center height, coinciding with the axis. Match with the That center point here. See. This is the easiest method to check to find out the tool point, height of the tool point. This is one method. Another method is take the cart on the face of the work. The tool point cannot be below or above the center height. The tool point cannot be below or above the center height. If it is below, if the tool point is below the center height, then on the work surface, on this end, while doing the point will remain. If the tool point is below or above also, both the position, a point will remain. So in order to not to have that point, then the tool point must be set to the center height. This is one method. Another method is like this. Hold the workpiece. Hold.
Start.
Work with hand and then hold the tool like this position, and take the cart. Move the tool up to the center, here, and you must get a side. This operation is called facing. We come again to this operation. See. The tool is moved up to the shape, what happens? Now the point has remained there. Point is there. The point is there because the tool is below the center. When the tool is below the center, when the tool point reaches at the center, suddenly gets a jerk and it goes forward. To avoid that, the tool point must be set to the center. Now, what can be done to raise the tool? So put some packing inside here, according to the required. Put some required packing and raise the height of the tool so that it comes to the exactly to the center height. So the tool before the tool was below the center. That's why here the point is there. Now the tool point is set to the exact center. Let us see how it comes. The point disappeared. That means the tool height is exactly to the center height. These are the operating switches. This is emergency switch. This is forward. This is stop, reverse, and inch. See, let us. When you press the forward button, the charge always anti-clockwise, rotates in anti-clockwise direction. Always, the charge must rotate in anti-clockwise direction when you press forward. The anti-clockwise direction is called forward direction. Let us see. I am pressing the forward button. Stop. And blue button, the reverse. Clockwise direction. Rotating clockwise. While machining, the reverse position is never used. Because you can't take the cart when the charge is rotating in reverse condition. Only forward direction. Because the anti-clockwise and the workpiece falls on the tool and only the metal. If it rotates, then from the bottom, it like this, it goes up and the tool point can break. and that when there won't be any machining on the work surface. So always the forward and the anti-clockwise by forward direction while machining. This is inch. All machine will not have. All machine will have only all the other machine will have 1, 2, and 3. This means now this means the new model. This has got inch. Inch, when you press inch, this will not rotate continuously. It will not like forward. Continuously it won't rotate. It will stop after some time. Now this one is why it is used. See, when the chuck is in high speed, it will rotate by hand. When it is low speed, very difficult to rotate by hand. Now a point mark, the mark is here, say for you. The mark is here and you have to bring it up to here. Now you can't rotate by hand. This is the, like this you go on trying, till the point comes to that position. That's why the inch is there. Let us study about this one, this levers, this chart. This is the speed chart. A, B, C, D is written there. And here A, B, C, D lever. This A, B, C, D means here, this one. E and F is here. E and F. N means neutral. Okay. When you shift the lever to F, the speed will be more. When you shift the lever, let us see. More speed. When the same lever is shifted to other side, E, engage with E, low speed. Okay? And N means neutral. Neutral means the chuck won't rotate. Chuck will not rotate when it is in neutral. When you start a machine, you have set the gears, When you start a machine, it doesn't rotate, means something wrong with the lever or gears. The gears are not properly engaged. So this is okay. Now A, B, C, D. Now there are 90 speed, 40 speed, 140, 220, 230. So accordingly, it's like a graph. Accordingly, you look at this position and this lever, and accordingly you find out how much is the speed. For smaller jobs, more speed. For bigger jobs, low speed. For aluminum, soft metal, more speed. For hard metal, low speed. Soft metal is like aluminum, brass, copper. These are all soft metal. Lead. These are also hard metal. High speed is so okay. Other metals. So for different nature of work, when you want to okay. At the time of finishing, more speed is used. At the time of finish, if you want to get a smooth finish, more speed is used. This one, left and right. Left and right, right and left. To change the direction of the carriage. Okay, I'll make the lead screw to rotate. You have to shift now this one, left and right you have to engage, and this lever you have to engage. This one is rotating. And now the machine is running automatic. Rotating automatic. Okay? Now the machine has to run the other side. We just change here. Actually it's now it's on left. We change to right. It is moving towards the periscope. Now how to see now? When you want to shift the lever, and if you cannot do it, if it's coming hard like if you find it difficult, then what you do, you just do like this, and that successive. And at the same time, shift the lever. But never shift the lever when the machine is running. Never shift. Here, even here. See. This is the easiest method. Move this chart and at the same time shift the lever. Take the workpiece and hold about 25% or 15 you can say inside the chart, not fully like this. Now when you want to do the turning, hold it like this, about 15% of the length or 25% of the. This is wrong. Holding like this is wrong. Holding like, because the job cannot come out, tool can also be, there can be damage also. So best is hold like this, about 25% or 15%, and don't fully tighten it. Tighten it, but not fully. Then what you do? Start the machine. Look at the workpiece. If it is running out, wobbling like, if it is running eccentric, then what you do? Take the chassis and slightly go on bang like this till it comes to concentric, and then fully tighten. Don't keep the workpiece loose in the chart. Fully tighten. This is the best method. Not like this is wrong. Not like this also. See, stand perpendicular to the chuck key. This is called the chuck key. And then push with left hand and pull with right hand. Give a jerk. So now the workpiece is completely fully tightened. Then next step is we are ready to do the turning operation. Turning operation is here like this. For turning operation, hold the tool like this. Fix the tool like this. Okay, this is the position for turning operation. Cannot, this is wrong. This cannot be used for turning operation. This is good for facing operation. In other words, look the front side of the tool and the left side of the tool. The front side and the left side is ground to less than 90 degree. It is not completed to 90 degree. Left side and the front side is not 90 degree. It is less than 90 degree. A taper like, a back slope like. Yeah. You cannot hold it like this because if this full side cannot come in contact with the work surface, there will be vibration. So the main aim is to the thing is only the tool point must come in contact with the work surface. Only the tool point, not any other side and all. For facing and for as well as for turning. Now we'll do the turning. Now tool is set here. So when the work tool is very far, hold the handle and move like this fast. Don't bang it on work. And then slowly you adjust like this. And let the tool point be slightly about 1 or 2 millimeters inside the work surface. Here. Tool point, let it be slightly inside the work surface. Then take it very close. Don't keep a gap. Keep a gap. Then what you do? Start the machine. And slowly move it like this till the tool point touches the work surface. Slowly. Now it's here. The important is sense of hearing is very, very important. Hissing sound. When the tool touch is not very heavy. When the tool touch, you should come to know by the hissing sound. Then move the tool behind. Okay? Outside the work. Then feed with this one. Feed with the cross slide. So markings are there. About feed with 5 divisions. Then change your position. Hold the hand wheel. Stand like this. Put your finger inside, not like this. Wrong, this is wrong. Put your finger inside and put weight on your finger. And this thumb on the ring and the other thumb like this. And then move like this. Slowly. Slowly. To the required length. Don't move too fast. Slowly you move. If you move too fast, damage will be there. 2 point may break also. I require a smart length. Smart length. Come behind. Again you sit here. So the success is not, size is not correct. Size is incomplete. Again another 5 degrees. Beginning you take light card. Beginning. Once you are used, you can take heavy card. Yeah. Again you have to. The diamond is not complete. Again another 5 degrees. Take it like this. See, when the diamond is coming regular, you get a continuous sound. Otherwise, we get a broken sound. I'll come in that broken sound. This is continuous sound. Means the full surface is regular. Full surface is regular. The broken sound is like here. Broken sound. This is the broken sound. When there is continuous sound, that means the work is fully round. Completely round. Then stop the machine, take the vernier caliper, and you measure. Measuring is like this. This is the position to measure. If you can read here, when it is like this position, well and good. Otherwise, you remove slowly, but don't take care that the jaw should not move. This is movable jaw. The jaw should not move. Here, this is the position. You have to fall on the machine, bend yourself, and slowly move out and read. Another, I want to make this diameter to 18. Another 0.2 millimeter is extra. 2 millimeter extra. Now here. 0.2 millimeter extra. So light touch, hissing sound. Touch. Come out like this. 0.2. From here you can take. This is 0.1. 1 division is 0.1. You feed by 2 division. Down. And then take the card. Change the position and take the card. Slowly. So this is the last card, final card. This is the final card. Move slowly. That is smooth finish. You have to move the hand by both hands. One hand and then the same hand cannot do that. Use the second hand. Not both the hand at the same time. No. One hand, one after another. Now, turning of it. Okay? Turning of it. So, now we'll go for facing operation. This tool position is for turning operation. Change here, this one. You can keep less angle or more angle. Because left side of the tool must be at the slope. There should be a slope. Here. You can keep more angle or less angle. Because the left side should not touch the work surface. See. So this is wrong. The full left side is touching the work surface. Wrong. If it is like this, then the vibration or damage will take place. So in order to avoid this, change the angle. Let there be slope between the face of the work and the left side of the tool. And then clamp. Here. Now, for this one, here. This is the method. Keep it very close. Don't touch it. Start the machine. Then do like this. And listen to the sound. Light touch. Now this is hissing sound. The tool touch there. Don't move this again. Move only this one out. Then give the feed. Give this one. With the hand wheel. The 1 division feed is 0.3. The markings are there. 1 division point. Now take the card. Now take the card like this. This is called facing. This is called facing. I'll slightly change the angle of the tool. Change the angle of the tool. Again, here. Let the tool point slightly inside the work surface, beyond the work surface. Touch it, light touch. See sound? Now, if you touch, come out, give feed by another 1 degree. And here. See, this is called facing. The end of the work is made completely flat. This is facing now. Now see here, I moved the tool point up to the center. There is no point. That means the tool is exactly to the center height. The tool point is exactly to the center height. So this is facing. Facing means, in other words, in simple language, the end of the work is made completely flat. And turning means the curved surface. The workpiece is made to cylindrical shape. That is called plane turning. Now, when you want to decrease the diameter again and again, okay, when you want to make the diameter, then which operation? The turning operation. When the length of the workpiece has to be shortened, then the facing operation. This is understood in the simple language. When you want to reduce the length of the workpiece, facing must be done. When you want to make the diameter of the workpiece, then the turning operation must be done. This is all about facing and turning.